National Platform formerly the National Unity Reconciliation, a political party in Uganda that is being led by Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu. Founded December 2004, this is the second time that they are participating in the general elections, particularly the position highest in office, and that is the office of the President of the Republic of Uganda. Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu and his proposer, Sekenda, and the 17 other escorts have taken seat in the nomination tent at the Electoral Commission grounds, and now they will be facing the titans, that is the commission itself, to verify every single document that will be submitted by them, verify it, stamp it, and then make declarations accordingly. Now, when we look back to history in 2021, of course, the incumbent Museveni garnered 6,042,898 votes, while Bobi Wine, who came in first runner position, came with 3,631,437 votes. This is the highest that we have seen of any opposition, strong opposition leader in the history of the 8 cycles of the elections post the 1995 constitution. The closest that Dr. Kizza Besigye came to was 3,508,687 votes. That was back in 2016. However, as we speak right now, he's incarcerated behind the bars. His case awaits the powers that be in the corridors of justice to give him accorded justice towards his case. That being said, and returning to studio as we'll be having interruption of the pictures, waiting for the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Simon Biabakama, to address the team of the National Unity Platform, will be engaging accordingly. Mr. Chamongez, you and I have had this conversation before. You've come to this table and in our news bulletins talking about the violations against the Fourth Estate. From the discussions we had at that time, I mean, there were commitments that were made, but Mr. Chitambo here said that there should be unity. One of the unities that we saw of the Fourth Estate was them stopping coverage of any, especially security forces, as far as coverage is concerned. That was a way of sending a message. There's been engagements here and there. The human rights watchdogs have been engaged on this matter. And I wonder, from where you are seated as one who's an observer of policy and an analyst in that matter, where do you think the Fourth Estate lies in being recognized as a contributor to a free and fair election?
Thank you. I think that one of the things that as a country we slowly drawing to, it's around extremism. And we seem to see that each side is pulling from the extreme side. Now, there has to be, or there is a group of people or individuals who pay the price for this. We see those in government are on the extreme end, those that are in position are on the other extreme end. We seem not to have the moderates, people who can be able to, have some sort of conversation. And the media, again, I think that has become the institution to pay this price. And what we've seen, the response of government to the Fourth Estate, I think it's not by mistake. I think it's not by mistake really. There could be a few instances like what my colleague, my friend Ronald, has undergone today, which of course is unfortunate. But when you look at the patterns, when you try to study the patterns for both general elections, for the by-elections, you see that it's a well-thought, they're well-thought processes, well-thought actions, and you see the execution is very clear. We've just recently seen what happened in Kawempe in the by-election and how the media was treated. That is not by any means a mistake or an approach that the government or the security agents could have taken by mistake. It's a clear response. And sometimes it's to communicate or to also prevent some information from going out. Notwithstanding the shortcomings that could be highlighted on how the individual journalists or the media houses could either be conducting themselves, but I think that irrespective of whatever conduct, no reason or there cannot be any justification of such response. And I should say that it's unfortunate that looking at what has happened, looking at what is happening, a situation can be any better. I think that as we proceed, the relationship between the security forces together with the media, the relationship is likely to be more strained, partly because already, of course, the past history. But also, more importantly, I think that increasingly the stakes are high. Like what I've highlighted in terms of extremism seems to be high. And to that end, sometimes there's a lot of information that either it needs to be kept away from the public, or there is information that requires only to go to the public. We see NTV, we see NBS. I think as of today, they are not allowed to cover the president's events. I think for whatever reasons, even if there are differences, they could be handled in a better way, not to shut the media away. Of course, the other area that I thought I could also weigh in terms of what the other colleagues had highlighted is around the question of civic awareness and civic education. That we see today, the individuals who are willing to pay their price, for candidate for whatever reason. We've performed extremely bad, and this is as per our assessment in terms of ensuring that the people civic awareness is practiced. And I think as the RCC highlights, whereas it's not a role of a specific institution, it's a collective responsibility. I think that there are institutions that take lead in this, and also appreciating that elections is not an event really. This is a process. And as again, and probably share the experience of the civil society organizations towards the end of last year, the Electoral Commission calls out and asked civil society together with the other stakeholders to express interest to participate in the electoral in civic awareness. Come around Feb, we see I was called specifically because we had expressed interest. I was called by the security agencies I think there were quite a number of questions or interrogations that they needed to undertake, which they did. By the time, it's just recently that the verdict of their decision of which entities, which civil society organizations, together with the other entities that could participate in this process. Of course, we saw so many institutions, including mine, were not accredited, which is fine. I think looking at the reasons, you find that I think there is the criteria that the Electoral Commission could have used is something that we are yet to appreciate. But I think that when you look at the election and understanding that this is a process and that people need to be sensitized, people need to be educated continuously, not through just, the RCC highlighted about the high cost or sometimes